Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, Labour Party threatens to occupy Independent National Electoral Commission offices nationwide over access to electoral materials. Borno State Governor Zulum visits families of slain fishermen in Ngala local government area. Fuel scarcity bites harder in Bauchi. Residents blame independent marketers. Away from Nigeria, death toll from Gabon ferry disaster rises to 3. 34 people declared missing. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. And now the details. Labour Party has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission of frustrating its petition against the outcome of the 2023 presidential election, threatening to occupy the Commission's offices nationwide over refusal to allow the party to inspect electoral materials used in the presidential and National Assembly elections. Spokesman of the Presidential Campaign Council of the party, Yunusa Tanko, told a press conference in Lagos that INEC is disobeying court order by its action. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi reports.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has granted an order directing the Independent National Electoral Commission to allow the party to inspect electoral materials used during the presidential election held on February 25th. Yunusa Tanko said the order of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal was duly served on INEC on March 3rd, though the Commission's lawyer were in the court when the order was made.
The action of INEC under reference also constitutes, for all intent and purpose, an act of judicial insubordination and willful refusal to comply to the order of court. As we speak, INEC has chosen to obey the order of court given to it to configure the Beavers machine, which they are doing right now, and ignoring the order granted to us to inspect the electoral material.
He said the party also sent a letter to the Commission on March 6th, reminding the electoral umpire that it is to comply with the access order, treating that the Labour Party will ask its supporters to stage a protest at the offices of the commissions over the refusal to obey the court order.
We therefore call on the general public to note the level of lawlessness and bizarre disobedience to lawful order of a court by an important statutory agency such as INEC, and which is a well-calculated attempt to undermine and frustrate the presentation of the petition by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate, and before the tribunal in good time.
The spokesman noted that while INEC has refused the party access to the election materials, the Commission has started configuring the VBAS machines without the representatives of the parties in the case in attendance to confirm the data that is protected.
We therefore want to state that we will not fail in our duty and responsibility given to us as mandated by the Nigerian people to ask our supporters to march down to INEC offices nationwide in a non-violent protest, which is allowed by law. This is to curtail the flagrant disobedience to court order by INEC and any other institution who may wish to do so now or in the nearest future.
Tanko also maintained that Peter Obi won the election from the results submitted by its party agent from the polling unit, urging Nigerians to vote for candidates of the party in the rescheduled March 18 governorship and state assembly elections. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
Nasarawa West senatorial candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Wakili Kabiru Muhammad, in the February 25 National Assembly elections has dragged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to the election tribunal over omission of the party's logo. Speaking to journalists shortly after filing his petition on Saturday in Lafia, Kabiru Muhammad said that the logo of his party was not clearly captured on the ballot papers by INEC. INEC and Ahmed Aliu Wadada of the Social Democratic Party, winner of the election, are joined as the first and second defendants in the case. He alleged that the act of omission by INEC did not comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 and the 1999 Constitution. He therefore called on the tribunal to nullify the election. The petitioner said that he approached the tribunal to seek redress because there was a lot of abnormalities during the election. He advised his supporters to remain calm and law-abiding and await the outcome of the judgment of the tribunal. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accused the Katsina state government of witch hunting and threatening political office holders and the civil servants ahead of the March 18 governorship and state assembly elections. The main opposition party in the state is also accusing some people of alleging that its governorship candidate has dropped his ambition to contest the forthcoming elections. The PDP made the allegations at a press briefing in Katsina. Abdullahi Amadi completes the story.
The PDP stakeholders at the briefing said they were surprised by the recent actions of the government, where some political office holders and government officials were relieved of their duties for allegedly working against the ruling party during the presidential and national assembly elections, adding that such allegations could not be substantiated. This, the PDP says, is an act of desperation to retain power.
Workers are being intimidated, local governments are being intimidated, district head, village head, and warheads are being intimidated, being forced to ensure that they support APC. Now it has gone down to schools. School children are being intimidated. And I think the PTA, the parents in particular, should front of this, should call on the government to desist from involving their children in this kind of sin.
The opposition party bigwigs also said the claim by the ruling APC that PDP is mobilizing talks ahead of the governorship and state assembly elections is baseless. They however said if there is any plan to that effect, the APC government is to be held responsible, as its desperation to hang on to power is glaring.
Unfortunately, APC government, which was elected by mass support of the people in 2015 and also 2019, is now deeply involved in rigging, intimidation, harassment, and so on. So it is certainly unfortunate. And unfortunately, this is the home state of Mr. President. Mr. President has told the world that he is determined to conduct free, fair, and credible election. But what is happening in his state is exactly the contrary.
Both the APC and the opposition PDP have been accusing each other of planning to rig the forthcoming elections. Political observers are saying the accusations and counter-accusations are indications of more political awareness and the rise of better opposition in the state. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Cross Television News, Katsina.
The resident electoral commissioner for Zamfara State, Saidu Babura, says that the commission and relevant stakeholders have taken record of the sensitive electoral materials which the commission had distributed to the 14 local government areas of the state before the postponement of the election and the consequently directed the security agencies to secure them in the local government areas. Babura stated this while answering questions from journalists on the security of the sensitive electoral materials which have already been distributed across the state. The report.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Zamfara State had last Wednesday commenced the distribution of sensitive electoral materials to the 14 local government areas of the state ahead of the governorship and state assembly elections earlier scheduled for Saturday, 11th March. The state's resident electoral commissioner said the materials had arrived the 14 local governments of Zamfara State before the commission announced the rescheduling of the elections to 18th March, adding that he had directed security agencies to secure the electoral materials in those local government areas.
Thank you. It is correct that the elections have been officially rescheduled now to take place on the 18th of March 2023.
He revealed that the commission held meetings with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, as well as head of security agencies and paramilitary in the state, to review the presidential and National Assembly elections and strengthen preparation for the governorship and state houses of assembly elections, with a view to ensuring that it builds on the successes and address the challenges faced in the last election.
For banditry and other forms of arrest throughout the last many years. In spite of that, during the presidential election, we were able to deliver. We were able to hold the elections in each and every local government, each and every actually polling unit in Zamfara state. We had declared the results in all the constituencies. That is, in the presidential, we had declared the results, which we eventually took to Abuja, and we also delivered our own result.
Barbara called on electorates and stakeholders to become and come out in large numbers on the 18th of March and vote for candidates of their choice, stressing that the rescheduling of the poll was beyond the Commission's control.
Now, as Nigerians brace up for the governorship and State House of Assembly elections, residents of Jos, the Plateau State capital, have decried the rise in campaigns of calumny among supporters of the three major political parties. The trend, they say, is heating up the polity as videos, audios and text messages aimed at bringing down opponents dot the political landscape. With the poll now shifted by another week, residents are calling on supporters to engage more in issue-based campaigns as against character assassination. Ado Musa reports.
Determined to win the governorship election in the state, loyalists of the three major political parties, namely the APC, PDP and Labour Party, have resorted to spreading damaging content against their opponents. While supporters are accused of spreading such negative content on social media, the candidates are, however, debunking them in their various media conferences in order to pacify the voters. Some residents in the state see the development as uncalled for.
My call to the people concerned and the stakeholders that we shouldn't do anything to jeopardize the relative peace enjoyed in Jos. We should remember that we are brothers keepers, and there's going to be life after election. Whether your political party emerges victorious or otherwise, never you temper with the relative peace enjoyed in Jos.
The issue of hate speech spreading on the social media is that it will further destroy the fragile peace we are enjoying on the plateau.
Recently, there has been so much hate speech going on the media about plateau election, which is actually very, very bad for the state, and it's very, very expensive indeed to plateau politics. If that keeps on continuing, it's going to endanger the hard-earned peace in Jos.
They, however, appeal to party supporters and other stakeholders to exercise restraint.
The citizens in Plateau here should take it easy and trust their respective politicians, so that we can maintain the hard-earned peace in Jos and have a peaceful election here in Jos.
The people of Plateau State should vote for someone of merit. They should shun politics of ethnicity and religiosity to not take us anywhere. They should vote someone who has the background, who has the record to change and transform the economy of Plateau State. So that is my candid recommendation.
The Plateau State government and former Governor David Jang recently traded blames on the spread of hate speech among social media users in the state, a development that many describe as unfortunate. Residents are, however, calling on all to ensure that the exercise is conducted peacefully. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Now, still on subnational politics, political analysts are predicting tough contest for governorship elections in some northern states, especially where incumbent governors are seeking re-election. In Gombe State, northeast Nigeria, 14 governorship candidates are battling for the apex position, including the incumbent governor, Inuwa Yahaya, who is seeking re-election. Ibrahim Ismail speaks to Babayo Sule, a political scientist at the Federal University of Kashiri on the forthcoming governorship elections in Gombe State.
The incumbent Governor Inuwa Hayar of the APC, Muhammad Barde of the PDP, and Kamisu Melantarki of the NNPP are the major contenders for the Gombe State governorship seat in the 2023 election, rescheduled for March 18. A Gombe-based political scientist, Babayo Sule, says the 2023 governorship election will likely pass as the toughest in the history of Gombe State since 1999.
You cannot even say this will be a straight winner until after the conduct of the election with maybe some hours or after a day. So definitely it is interesting and it is an improvement in the democratic processes of the gubernatorial election of Gombe State, whereby instead of the usual business of just two contestants, we now have more options. It is telling you that we are now becoming more socialized democratically. And to me, it's an advantage to the voters because it's a means to have multiple alternatives for choice if you are not satisfied with one party or the other.
According to Sule, predicting an outright winner for the poll is a tough call as the three major contenders possess all it takes to lead the state. He called on the people to vote a credible candidate rather than leading toward political affiliations.
I will urge the voters to go out and vote for any candidate of their choice, devoid of any party, because party has no ideology in Nigeria. So therefore, I will not ask you to go and vote for party A or B or C. I will just ask you to go and vote for any candidate that you feel is credible at all the level of contest, that is the gubernatorial and the State House of Assembly election. Third, I will urge the candidate to shun politics of money, both buying, both selling, bribery, corruption in the process, and just be fair, accountable, and transparent, because that is what will safeguard the integrity of the voters, and that is what will make the voted officials to respect and honor the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate.
The People's Democratic Party (PDP) scored the highest vote in the presidential election in the state, won 5 out of the 6 House of Representatives seats and 2 senatorial positions out of 3. The party's victory in Gombe State in the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections has left many wondering what the outcome of the 18th March governorship election in the state will be. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has paid a sympathy visit to families of the 30 fishermen killed on Wednesday by terrorists at Mugdolo village, Gamborungala local government area of the state. The killed fishermen from Dikwa local government area had gone fishing in the village but were ambushed and killed by terrorists. A statement from the Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Strategy, Malam Isa Gusau, on Saturday said that Zulum met with the bereaved families at the palace of the Mayor of Dikwa, Ibrahim Ibn Ibrahim El Kanami. The Governor, who presented relief materials to each of the deceased families to support them during the mourning period, also assured them of further assistance. Responding on behalf of the families, the Shehu of Dikwa appreciated the Governor for his concern and commitment to the welfare of the people. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the February 25 election, Atiku Abubakar, has condemned the Friday's killing of dozens of fishermen in Mugdolo village in Gamborungala local government area of Borno State. Insurgents suspected to be either members of the Boko Haram or the Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP on Friday swooped on the farmers around the Lake Chad region. In a condolence message on Saturday, the former vice president said no amount of grievances will justify the attack. Describing the killings as reprehensible, Atiku said that he was more pained by the deaths because the victims were innocent citizens seeking their daily bread when their killers descended on them. No fewer than 9 residents have been kidnapped by gunmen at the Grow Homes estate along Kuchibi in the Kubwa area of the Federal Capital Territory. The gunmen, numbering about 20, were said to have stormed the estate around 11:30 p.m. on Friday. A resident of the community who identified himself simply as Hassan said that the victims were captured from 2 separate apartments in the estate. He added that the incident had caused panic in the community. The spokesperson for the police in Abuja, Josephine Ade, who confirmed the incident, added that the police and the estate security are combing the bushes in the area to ensure the victims are rescued. Suspected gunmen on Saturday attacked Kahugu community in Lere local government area of Kaduna State, killing 1 and abducted others. Community members said that the attack was carried out by the gunmen in the early hours of Saturday. Trust TV's Bello Musa reports.
Men invaded Karimbu Kahugu, a community in Lere local government area of Kaduna State, abducting 4 women, killing a son of the community pastor who has been buried this morning. According to residents, the gunmen in dozens stormed the community in the early hours of Saturday morning carrying heavy rifles. Among the 4 women abducted was a nursing mother. The residents of the community are mourning and gripped with fears. They are calling security agencies to deploy more troops to the area. At the time of filing this report, the Kaduna State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Muhammad Jalinge, could not be reached to ascertain the situation on ground at the area.
Now, the Zamfara State Police Command has rescued 14 kidnapped victims who have been in bandits' camp for 68 days. A spokesperson for the command, Muhammad Shehu, said that the victims were rescued by the police tactical operatives in conjunction with the vigilante group during a mop-up at Munghaye Forest in the Safi local government area of the state. Shehu maintained that in the course of the debriefing, the victims informed the police detectives that on January 1, 2023, at about 11 o'clock in the night, a large number of suspected bandits armed with sophisticated weapons stormed Ungwar Mangoro and Gidan Maidawa villages in Gusau local government area and abducted them to their camp where they spent 68 days. The State Commissioner of Police, Kolo Yusuf, congratulated the victims for regaining their freedom and reassured that the police will remain committed to protecting the lives and properties of the citizens. Terrorists numbering about 30 Saturday morning attacked Majifa community in Gangara local government area of Katsina State, killing about 15 people. An eyewitness from Majifa village said that the terrorists riding on motorcycles arrived at the village, shooting sporadically and threatening to kill anyone who attempted to escape. Residents who spoke to Trust TV in Katsina State said hundreds of women and children have fled to other towns and cities for safety. Hundreds of domestic animals were rustled in the process, while several shops were looted by the terrorists. Residents of Majifa and neighboring communities are calling for the deployment of security operatives to help in securing the area. Attempts to get the police spokesman in the Katsina proved abortive. Commuters in Bauchi State have accused independent marketers of Premium Motor's Spirit of aiding the lingering fuel scarcity by undermining the efforts of the federal government towards making the product available. They spoke with Trust TV at one of the filling stations within the metropolis while trying to buy the product. The report.
Despite government subsidy on petroleum motor spirit, many Nigerians believe that there are some that are bent on ensuring that the fuel crisis persists. Some commuters in Bauchi allege that independent marketers are behind fuel problems in Nigeria.
Deliberate attempt in the sense that the people are very much, especially the marketers in the business, they are undermining the effort of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And at the same time, most of the reason why all this lingering situation and this fuel scarcity, it is just something that is so artificial against the interests of the masses. At the same time, I don't look at it like it is a situation that some couple number of people, or it is the federal government, whatever. No, rather than it is just some few people that are undermining any effort available as far as the federal government is concerned.
This alleged sabotage by marketers, some say, makes many to spend days on queues at filling stations, without getting the product unless they cut corners. This fuel scarcity is biting harder with every passing day. We usually spend the whole day or even more on queues before getting the product. We are appealing to government to do what is right to end this fuel crisis. You can get to a filling station with government price, but you won't find fuel to buy. But when you approach black marketers, you realize they have fuel. That is the situation we find ourselves in. The chairman, Independent Marketers Association of Nigeria, Bauchi chapter, says instead of firstly accusation of the association, Nigerians should thank them for their efforts toward ensuring that end users get the fuel. In Bauchi State, we used to sell the product below government price. That means whatever is going on, we are helping the Nigerian masses to get the fuel at all costs. We knew what we are going through to make it happen. I believe no one can deposit their money and wait to get the fuel when it is available. But we do that to help people. We spend millions to get fuel to end users in the country. We are really trying our best. He also confirmed that Nigerians are buying fuel at a cheaper rate compared to other countries of the world and urged them to be patient with the current scarcity, which according to him will end after the 2023 general elections. Adam Imam, Trust TV News.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Electricity supply restoration excites Maiduguri residents. Details of this and more after the break.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at the top stories again. Labour Party threatens to occupy Independent National Electoral Commission offices nationwide over access to electoral materials. Borno State Governor Zulum visits families of slain fishermen in Ngala local government area. Now moving on, 2 20-feet containers on Saturday morning fell along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, Lagos State. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority confirmed the report in a statement posted on its Twitter page. LASMA noted that personnel were on the ground managing the situation while effort was on to get the impediments off the road. Containers falling on the Lagos roads have been rampant in recent times, with some situations claiming lives and causing serious traffic. Earlier on Friday, a 40-foot container fell in the Algo Palace Way area of the state. This incident was the fifth of containers that fell in different parts of the state on Friday. Residents of Maiduguri have expressed happiness over the recently commissioned 50 megawatts gas power plant in the state capital. Prior to the commissioning, Maiduguri had experienced blackout due to the electrical disruptions occasioned by attacks from insurgents. Bitrus Kuruti has the rest of the story.
Maiduguri city is now experiencing near steady power supply from the national grid after suffering several interruptions caused by Boko Haram terrorists. The restoration of power supply in the Borno capital received a boost with the recent commissioning of the NNPC 50 megawatts gas plant by President Muhammadu Buhari to serve as an emergency source of power should there be any cutoff from the national grid. Some Maiduguri residents expressed happiness with the new development.
Because of the light, we have started feeling better compared with before. Because before the coming of this light, hardly you see us. When you come to the shop, you see us sleeping, sitting down, chatting, and that is all. But because of the light now, you can see that we are very busy. Even when you people come, I just have to attend to your interview.
In fact, we are very grateful, and we have got very much improvement in this Borno state particularly. Because we have here for so long, almost 1 or 2, getting to 1 to 2 years without light.
For the light that we have, we are very, very happy because we are using the light for many different things: cooking, gas, hot plates, fridge. Lights have different types of use. So most especially like this time that there is heat.
They noted that the gas plant, though not yet functional, will end total blackout in the state when operational, and prayed that it comes alive sooner than later.
Well, maybe with this commissioning this project, by the wish of God, they will get sufficient light, because they will say they will distribute this light all over local government that they don't benefiting light before.
Let the light be available, let it be affordable so that the masses can be able to pay for it. Because it's not saying that we have the gas plant. Yes, we will have the light, but if we cannot pay for it, it's still back to square one.
The return of electricity to the metropolis is a sigh of relief, as it will boost economic activities and also lessen the effects of the hot season. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Traders under the aegis of Imo State Amalgamated Market and Allied Traders Association on Saturday stormed the government house in Owerri to protest a directive of the Nigeria Labour Congress in the state. The NLC leadership had announced an indefinite strike in Imo State over the alleged brutalization of some of its members by security operatives and agents of government. The protesters, carrying placards with various inscriptions, blocked the entrance to Government House, calling on Governor Hope Uzodinma to intervene and ensure the strike was halted, as the livelihoods and welfare of citizens and traders were being impeded. The traders said that the lack of cash, fuel and power supply in the state were already problems to deal with, adding that any other hardship on citizens will not be tolerated. However, the Deputy Governor, Placid Njoku, who addressed the protesters, assured them that the state government will do everything possible to get the situation under control. In the meantime, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has sacked the Commissioner for Labor and Productivity, Ford Ozumba. The Commissioner for Information, Declan Emelumba, in a statement on Saturday, said that the removal is with immediate effect. The governor is said to have directed Ozumba to hand over all necessary documents to the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Labor and Productivity immediately. No reason was given for the sack, but some sources said it may not be unconnected with the ongoing impasse between the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress, led by Joe Ajaero, and the Imo State government. Now, the governorship candidate of the Young Progressives Party, YPP, Dagogo Wenike Briggs, has disassociated himself and the party from the endorsement of the PDP standard-bearer, Sim Fubara, by the chairman of the party, Omagi Mahari. Wenike Briggs, who stated this in an exclusive interview, described the action of Omagi Mahari as a show of shame, stressing that he was still in the race for the brick house and urged River State people to disregard rumors of him stepping down for any candidate. The report.
The wave of endorsements of standard bearers has been on the increase in River State after the presidential election. However, some have turned out to be true, while others are rumors. They have either soiled the name of affected candidates or pitched them against their supporters, according to the governorship candidate of YPP, Dagogo Wenike Briggs, who condemned the recent endorsement of People's Democratic Party PDP's Sim Fubara by his own party's chairman, Omagi Mahari. Wenike Briggs described Omagima's action as disgraceful, stressing that he was still in the race and will not join forces with anyone against Rivers people.
The Young Progressive Party faithfuls in River State have totally lost faith and confidence in the leadership of the YPP state chairman Omangema Idomiboye Obuhari. Due to lack of integrity, the said chairman, Mr. Omangema, joined 12 others to sell out to the PDP in the River State. This anti-party activity have very damning impact on the electoral strategies, causing great pain in the past election. I want to use this medium to appeal to the YPP faithfuls. Do not lose hope. I will not sell out whatsoever. Omangema may be lacking integrity, but I, Dagogo Wenike Briggs, and the Wenike Briggs campaign organization are still in the race to bring light to Rivers people and to bet the River State off our dream.
He urged party faithful to remain calm, stressing that the disciplinary hammer of the National Secretariat will come down hard on Omagi Mahari.
More so, according to the YPP national body, the disciplinary sledgehammer of the party will definitely fall on him for this indiscretion and sabotage to serve as a deterrent to others. Our party will further conclude on actions for the progress of the party.
The YPP governorship candidate further appealed to Rivers people not to be dismayed by the fallout of the presidential election, but come out en masse and exercise their franchise on March 18th.
The Deputy President, ECOWAS Community Court of Justice, Justice Dupe Atoki, says women need to be empowered educationally in order for them to stop being marginalized. Atoki, who said this at the Women's Forum of the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice International Women's Day celebration in Abuja, added that she believed that women will rise gradually with determination and constant support. In his goodwill message, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Anthony Ojukwu, said that the Commission celebrates the resilience and strength exhibited by women. Ojukwu also said that the Commission welcomed the emergence of technology, innovation and education in the digital age as a motivation for achieving gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. The Vice President, ECOWAS Parliament, Amazon, Mary Rose Oduche, said that technology had come to stay with the digitalization of all transaction processes.
The women will continue to be marginalized in every innovation if we do not begin to empower them educationally. Because that's the bedrock. You need to be educated to be able to use technology, to be able to use digital process. There's no doubt about that. Today is a day in which we recognize again the vulnerability of women and what we can do ourselves to help ourselves in educating women, in supporting women, in encouraging government to set up educational systems.
Technological innovation and education have the potential to help bridge the gender gap in the society. Thus, the use of technology can increase access to quality education for women by providing online educational resources and tools. Hence, the growth in information technology sector in the country is still dominated by men, with a few women participating in the sector. It need be emphasized that increasing women participation in technology sector is one of the surest ways of taking women out of economic disempowerment and strike the right balance between men and women in the technology sector and for income equality.
This you can see in banks, libraries, meetings, trainings, and even our courts, etc. This means that everyone, irrespective of gender, is expected to be part of the flow.
The remains of late Senator Joseph Wires, who was president of Nigeria's Senate in the Second Republic, has reportedly been abandoned in a London hospital. Wires died in December 2021 at a London hospital following a lingering illness which some family members attributed to poverty. Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River had inaugurated an expanded funeral committee in December 2021. The state government was said to have released some funds to the funeral committee headed by two-time Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Kanu Agabi. But 14 months after his death, findings show that the body of Nigeria's former number 3 citizen had been neglected over funds controversy. Daily Trust reporter in Calabar, Charles Ayo, gives an update.
When the former president of the Senate, Dr. Joseph Wires, died December 2021, the state governor soon after composed a funeral committee and appointed the 2 times Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Kanu Agabi, in the committee. It was actually an expanded committee that consisted of some former governors and prominent members of the state. But before he died, he took ill, and sources from the family actually said that the cause of the illness have been traceable to level of poverty, because for a time he was not really financially buoyant. So when he took ill, the first son, Joseph Wires Jr., told some journalists that the president, Muhammad Buhari, assisted the family to send him to London, where he was taken care of, and provided some resources which lasted for some 3 or 4 months, according to the prescriptions that the doctors gave. So, but fortunately, one of the children stayed in London and assisted to take care of him. When the resources were exhausted, the state governor, Professor Ben Ayade, mandated the then Commissioner for Health, Dr. Betta Edu, to take over the management of the illness in London. But soon after, he gave up. He died at the age of 80. That's what we are told. And that funeral committee was supposed to take care of arrangement towards the burial, because after a while, we're not hearing anything about the burial anymore.
Time now to take a quick break. The news hour continues shortly. Join us again. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or leading, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back to the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at business updates with Chiamaka Nwafo.
The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) says telecommunications companies lost a total of 12 million internet subscribers in 2021 due to the National Identification Number (NIN) linkage policy. In its latest report titled 2021 Subscriber Network Data Annual Report, the Commission also said a total of 9 million active voice subscribers were lost between 2020 and 2021. This, according to the report, was due to the directive to suspend the sales and registration of new SIMs across the country. In December 2020, NCC had given telecommunications companies a 2-week ultimatum to block SIM cards not registered with National Identification Number (NIN). The federal government later extended the deadline from December 2020 to January 2021 to enable subscribers with the NIN link it up, while those without NIN had till February 9, 2021. The NCC report said subscriber number decreased from over 204 million in 2020 to over 195 million active voice subscriptions as of December 2021, with the loss of over 9 million subscriptions. U.S. regulators pulled the plug on Silicon Valley Bank on Friday in a particular move that sent global banking shares sputtering as markets fretted over possible contagion from America's biggest banking failure since the 2008 financial crisis. U.S. authorities swooped in and seized the assets of SVB, a key lender to U.S. startups since the 1980s, after a run-on deposit made it no longer tenable for the medium-sized bank to stay afloat on its own. SVB specialized in financing startups and had become the 16th largest U.S. bank by assets. At the end of 2022, it had $209 billion in assets and approximately $175.4 billion in deposits. Its demise represents not only the largest bank failure since Washington Mutual in 2008, but also the second largest failure ever for a retail bank in the United States. In response to the sudden collapse, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen convened an emergency meeting of top U.S. banking regulators. And finally, in stocks, a total turnover of 1.023 billion shares worth 20.221 billion naira in 18,650 deals was traded this week by investors on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart, while the conglomerates industry and the industrial goods industry came second and third respectively. The NGX All Share Index and market capitalization appreciated by 0.48% to close the week at 55,794.51 and 30.395 trillion naira respectively. 22 equities appreciated in price during the week, with 49 equities depreciating in price, while 94 remained unchanged. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Mwafo.
And now on the foreign scene, the number of people believed missing in a ferry disaster off the coast of Gabon has climbed to 34 following a reassessment, with the death toll also rising from 2 to 3. Authorities say that at least one child and 2 adults have been found dead since the Esther Miracle, a mixed-use freight and passenger vessel that traveled between the capital Libreville and the oil town of Port Gentil sank in the wee hours of Thursday not far from the coast. They added that the number of passengers and crew aboard the ship were initially believed to be 151, but that the figure was revised upwards to 161 on Friday evening, without explaining how the 10 other missing people had been left out of the initial count. 3 more people have also been rescued from the wreck since the initial tally given on Thursday afternoon, though authorities did not specify the circumstances in which they were found. With currents strong in the Gulf of Guinea, where the ferry went down, the chances of finding more survivors or even bodies after the disaster is dwindling. At least 23 people were killed in lightning strikes during monsoon storms in eastern India, officials said on Saturday. The deaths in Bihar state occurred during fierce weather between Wednesday and Friday, with victims farmers and laborers. Now, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar expressed his condolences over the deaths and pledged compensation for the families of victims. 11 people were killed across several parts of the state on Friday, in addition to the 13 who died over the preceding 2 days, according to a toll published by Bihar's Disaster Management Authority. More heavy rains and lightning are forecast for parts of the state on Monday. And in sports news, Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has redeemed the 1 million naira pledge he made to the Niger Tornadoes players for beating Dakada FC. The Ikon Allah boys won the matchday 9 encounter at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna 1-0. David Okoromi scored the decisive goal for Niger Tornadoes in the game. Abubakar Bala's side failed to record a win in their 3 previous league outings before the victory against Dakada. The Mina club will face the same opponent in Uyo when the league resumes on March 25. Tornadoes finished the first half of the season 5th on the Group B log with 12 points and kept their hunt for a Super 6 playoff ticket alive. 3 people suspected of manipulating football matches in Kenyan leagues have been arrested in an investigation of a suspected match-fixing syndicate. The Football Kenya Federation disclosed this in a statement on Saturday. The arrest comes as Kenya's leagues face greater scrutiny over match-fixing and player corruption in competitions sanctioned by the FKF. According to FKF Chief Barry Otieno, 1 Kenyan and 2 foreigners were arrested for being involved in issuing bribes and match fixing. Otieno said that the federation was committed to ensuring the integrity of the sport and was working with local and international security agencies to prosecute the individuals. And it's a wrap for the news hour tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.